Seriously, you're obsessed with this hair loss thing. You keep coming back here watching these videos about it. You're obsessed. I'm not obsessed. I'm making videos that you're watching. You're obsessed. Now, let's get to having some fun here. Comment tree, let's do it. You know how this thing works. My friend Henry Brown, I think I've made a video in his honor before, and I love the name Henry. If I have another son, I would love to name him Henry. It's a great classic name. So I made a video called Receding Hairline, Do You Have Inner Peace? I made this yesterday. And his response was, quote, funny that people compare you to Ben Affleck. Rumor has it he wears a full hairpiece, end quote. Now, and just an extra frame-in-frame reference here, it is true that I get these at least weekly comparisons to Ben Affleck, because just 3 days ago, Almeida TV said on my video, Keeping the Hairline Vague, he said, quote, you look a little like Ben Affleck, end quote. So there's just proof to reinforce the fact that people were saying this, and I've made at least a video or two addressing that exactly. What I find interesting about these comments here is we're recognizing that as men who are, embracing hair loss or dealing with it, whatever, we are recognizing that we pretty much all know that Ben Affleck has had some kind of work done, whether it's officially been hair transplants, whether it's more. Honestly, I don't really care or know, but the consensus is hair transplants. And I know that some of you are experts on knowing the details. So let's assume that it's true, that it's definitely hair transplants that Ben Affleck has had. And what it made me think of is there actually a way to just look at someone and know that they had a hair transplant? The reason I was thinking about that is for the fact that if I'm being compared to Ben Affleck, and it's funny because if this is your first time watching this video, by the way, what a weird way to start the video, but if this is your first time watching one of my videos, you don't know for sure if I've had a hair transplant or not, have you? So the answer is no. I haven't had a hair transplant. The only thing I've done at all to slow down hair process is for the last month put on rosemary oil in that same rosemary oil solution. But no hair transplant. But I was thinking, if I look like a guy who's had hair transplants, does that at all imply that you can look at someone who actually has had a hair transplant and be able to decipher that just based on looks? Do you follow my logic on that? Because I follow my logic on that. But I do wonder, I mean, if someone has a decent hair transplant, can you know just by looking at them? Because I mean, right now I'm uneducated on the topic. So if that is the case, I don't know what to look for. All I can know is I can go on Google Images and look up Joe McHale before and after hair transplant, and I can clearly see that he had one. But if you don't already have that knowledge, and you can go back and look at pictures and figure it out, but just seeing someone you've never seen in your life, looking at them, can you size them up and see that they've had a hair transplant? I don't know. But apparently, if nothing else, one theory that we could possibly deduce, is that a word? Is that I, in theory, look like a guy who's had a hair transplant. I know that's a stretch, but still, I do apparently look like Ben Affleck to some degree, and he apparently has had a hair transplant. So there's my logic. So answer my question, help me understand. Can you look at someone and know that they've had a hair transplant if you've never seen them before? And I get it too. Let me close by saying this. I get it that the Ben Affleck comparisons are not simply based on my looks. It's also based on, I guess, how I talk and how I carry myself. And I don't mean this as a bad thing, but I think that, is it safe to say that Ben Affleck kind of has a little bit of a likable arrogance about him? and I wouldn't take that as an insult if anybody said that to me, because I think definitely that's a part of the personality that you see in these videos. I'm not denying that there's a likable arrogance. And how prideful is that for me to say, I have likable arrogance? But I think it's true. I think people are drawn to a confident man who has inner peace. So that's what I believe. And I think Ben Affleck kind of has that going on. It seems like, even if it's just in his characters or whatever, in interviews, he definitely has confidence in himself. And as for me, I didn't get confident on my own. It's a process, and you know, it's good for you that you're watching these videos. You know, when people say that I'm obsessed with this stuff, no, I'm catering to a crowd, but ultimately, if I'm obsessed with anything, it's helping other young men process this and get to that point of inner peace that I've reached, that I believe I've reached, that so many haven't. So if you inner peace and this hair loss thing, I've still probably got another video to make on that. I think it's very important, and I think it's untouched, because as people talk about hair loss in videos, it's usually not from this perspective, and that's kind of my shtick, and I love it. I enjoy it. So I'm not worried about my hair loss. I'm just focused on helping other people. So we'll pick it up here on the next one. As for now, I am standing in front of a dumpster, and there's not a thing you can do about it. Man, I didn't turn it off. That seemed like a good ending, and then I messed it up.